Hi, my name is Brenda Quiroz, and today I will be discussing the 4 foundational themes that are important to an early childhood educator. The first theme that I will be discussing is reflective practice. When we think about reflective practice, we as educators have to honestly examine our own identity, beliefs, and behaviors in the classroom. And when we reflect on race, culture, gender, and family background, we can see how those things influence our interactions in the classroom. We also have to be mindful that children have their own identities, belief systems, and behaviors, and they also bring that into the classroom. And when we reflect on not only our own identities and beliefs and behaviors, we also have to be mindful of the children's and how they both come together and interact, and how that creates meaningful learning. Our next theme is a multicultural perspective. And when we think about multicultural perspective, we think about how the US is made up of many different cultures. And when we understand that as educators, we have to recognize the importance of diversity and how much value that brings to an early childhood program. This can include multicultural, LGBTQ plus, and non-dominant cultural backgrounds. When we think about multicultural, we want to think about how other cultures view the world through their lenses. So one interesting quote that I thought I read in this chapter was, we must work to see the world through different lenses, even if we sometimes fail. And this just emphasizes how cultural awareness isn't just about food and holidays, but it's also about understanding how these cultures influence everyday interactions and policies that can be brought into the program. Our next theme is the holistic approach. And when educators see children through this approach, they view children as not just minds, but that their bodies, emotions, families, and different cultures. And teaching through a holistic approach embraces children, integrated teaching that helps children with physical, emotional, social, and cognitive development. Taking a holistic approach not only embraces all of these things, but it also takes into consideration a family context, even if family isn't around. It values the child as a whole, and not just academics or not just social emotional development. It doesn't teach in isolation. It integrates the entire curriculum to help focus on all aspects of a child. Our last theme is professionalism. And when we think about professionalism in the early childhood setting, we think about early childhood educators not just being glorified babysitters, but they're in fact professionals. And even though there is an inconsistency in the field when it comes to having a uniform having uniform credentialing, the field does have educators that are specialized in knowledge of childhood development. There's also a shared code of ethics throughout the field. And lastly, there is a commitment that educators will socially value nurturing young learners. When it comes to professionalism, educators understand that they will use developmentally appropriate practices, and that they're not going to go based on their own assumptions about a situation, but that they're actually going to go in and look for evidence-based strategies that are going to help nurture and teach young learners. Being an educator who uses reflective practices helps us understand who we are as educators, but also helps us understand the children that we interact with on a daily basis, which then helps us create meaningful curriculum. When we use reflective practices, we're able to reflect deeply and honor diversity. We're also able to teach children as a whole instead of in isolation. And we're able to create a meaningful learning environment where children are able to thrive.